One of the most fascinating things I've learned in my study of optimistic aging is the happiness U-shaped curve. And basically, what that finding shows is that paradoxically, older adults are the happiest of all of us. This finding is not what we would expect at midlife when we're all stressed, but actually, that's where the happiness is at its lowest, um, where we think that life is just going to get harder and harder. But in fact, what happens with age is that we tend to treasure our life experiences, the positive things that are happening in our lives. We're more oriented to them. We are savoring our beloveds. We're grateful for the positive things that are happening in our lives. Now, the blog post that I wrote linked below will give you some more detail about that. And I also am going to link the TED Talk by Laura Carstensen, a researcher out of Stanford who has done great research on this. You can get the details there. But the takeaway that I want to invite us to have is, okay, how do we do this when we're younger, especially when we're in midlife? So with that, the focal point here is that there's something about older adults seeing how fleeting life can be. And in midlife, we kind of feel like we have forever. But when we actually have experiences that shake us up a bit and remind us, maybe a loved one has died, maybe we have an illness, and it just reprioritizes things for us and helps us focus on the things we're grateful for and really treasure them. So the question becomes, how do we do that day in, day out without these hard experiences? Um, having to bring this to our attention. So when we're trying to create a mindset shift, that is a habit change in our thinking. My Hope to Habit book details all of this. But the question is, what is a cue that we can use? So for me, I am reminded of this trip I took with my mom and my brother. This may well end up being the last family trip that the three of us have together. I hope not, but it's quite possible. But we were in the high country here in Colorado in the mountains together. And while we were there, my mom found in this beautiful art gallery these glass hearts and bought one for each of us as a gift. And for me, the gift of this heart is to remember both that special trip that we had together, but really the special experiences I get to have with her. Fortunately, I live nearby. I'm her caretaker and companion, and it helps me to treasure the time that I have with her. And I use it as a cue to really savor the other aspects of my life and help me to be focused on gratitude and the positive experiences I'm having, whether it's being in my garden with the fleeting flowers as they bloom and die off, and I trim them and they bloom again. So, what is it for you that you can use as a cue in your life to orient you to the positive? I invite you to explore that and welcome in this way of being in a more satisfied way with your life here and now, no matter what age you are.